Welcome to the first of 3 deep dive videos in our series exploring key Dexa scan metrics discussed by Peter Attia in Outlive, the Science and Art of Longevity. In this video, we focus on visceral fat, the harmful fat stored deep within the abdominal cavity and around vital internal organs. Unlike subcutaneous fat, which lies just beneath the skin, visceral fat is far more dangerous due to its strong links with serious health conditions such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic disorders. To explain how visceral fat accumulates, Attia uses the analogy of a bathtub. When calorie intake exceeds energy expenditure, excess fat first fills up subcutaneous stores, the bathtub. But once these stores reach capacity, the fat spills over into areas where it doesn't belong, such as muscle tissue, the liver, the pancreas, and the bloodstream. This overflow fat becomes visceral fat, which significantly increases the risk of insulin resistance, inflammation, and cardiovascular disease. The risk of developing visceral fat varies by individual and is largely influenced by genetics. Some people have a higher capacity to store fat subcutaneously, meaning they are less likely to accumulate large amounts of visceral fat. Others, however, store excess fat internally much sooner, increasing their health risks even if they do not appear outwardly overweight. On the Dexa report, visceral fat scores provide a clear indication of risk. Under 100 is considered normal. 100 to 160 indicates an increased risk. Above 160 is classified as high risk. Visceral fat levels naturally tend to rise with age, particularly if overall body fat increases. Research suggests that between a person's 20s and 50s, visceral fat can double if total body fat reaches the 50th percentile. Even an average weight 40-year-old man could have exceptionally high visceral fat and be at serious risk for cardiovascular disease simply due to gradual fat accumulation over time. Ethnicity also plays a significant role in fat distribution. Data suggests that South Asians tend to accumulate visceral fat at lower total body fat levels than Caucasians, which may partly explain their higher rates of metabolic disease. Black individuals, on the other hand, often store less visceral fat for the same total fat mass. Fat distribution matters too. People who predominantly store fat in the torso tend to have higher visceral fat, while those with more even fat distribution in the limbs generally have lower levels. The good news is that visceral fat can be reduced, often more quickly than subcutaneous fat. Since it is highly metabolically active, visceral fat is more responsive to changes in calorie intake and physical activity. A 60-year-old customer was able to halve his visceral fat in just 2 months by cutting calories and increasing exercise. Similarly, a 45-year-old woman reduced her visceral fat by 80% over 1 year, dropping from the high-risk category to an exceptionally low level simply by maintaining a sustainable 400-calorie daily deficit and regular movement. While reducing calories is the most effective approach, physical activity plays a crucial role in visceral fat loss. Being sedentary significantly accelerates visceral fat accumulation by increasing insulin resistance in muscles. When fat spills over into muscle tissue, it interferes with glucose metabolism, leading to a cycle of fat gain, reduced physical activity, and further insulin resistance. This makes staying active essential, not just for weight loss, but for preventing the dangerous consequences of excess visceral fat. To summarize, visceral fat is far more harmful than subcutaneous fat due to its effect on metabolic health. It is essentially excess body fat that spills over into vital organs, increasing the risk of multiple chronic diseases. The most effective way to reduce visceral fat and improve both lifespan and health span is by lowering overall body fat through a combination of calorie restriction and regular movement. If you are concerned about your visceral fat levels or any of Peter Attia's longevity metrics, booking a Dexa scan at one of our centres could provide valuable insights into your health. A scan will give you an accurate picture of your fat distribution and help guide you towards effective, science-backed strategies for reducing risk and optimizing your long-term well-being.